What's up, everybody? It's professional wrestler Chris Wilde here with another video on my brand new YouTube channel dedicated to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, today is a significant day. It's February 19th, 2019, and today is the first day that NFL teams can start tagging the players that they might want to keep. And this is significant to us Eagles fans because we all know that the Eagles have a very big decision on what they want to do with possibly franchise tagging Nick Foles and looking to trade him. Now, we know that there's going to be some risk involved there, but we'll see as the days go by on what they're going to do. So I wanted to post this video because there's been a big debate. There's been a big rivalry between different sections of fans here in Philadelphia for about the past 4 or 5 months. And in the professional wrestling business, we've had rivalries like Hulk Hogan versus the Macho Man, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. Well, here in Philadelphia, we've got Nick Foles versus Carson Wentz. Now, I wanted to kind of dip into that. Who do you want to keep? Who would you keep moving forward? Would you keep Carson Wentz, or would you keep the guy that won us the Super Bowl, Nick Foles? To me, it seems like an obvious answer. To others, maybe not. So let's start with the two. On one hand, you got Carson Wentz, a dynamic, young player, struggled with a couple injuries the past couple years, but in 2017, he lit the league on fire. I mean, us as fans cannot erase that, and a lot of fans want to act like that never happened, man. To me, the eye test is everything. When you look at a guy, you can normally tell what kind of player he's going to be. Carson Wentz was unbelievable in 2017 to where it wasn't just a fluke. I mean, the guy ran an offense, the guy audibled, the guy called his own plays at times, ran when he had to run, could throw a good deep ball. I mean, the dude was everywhere. He made this thing happen and brought the Eagles to an 11-2 record before he got hurt. I mean, the guy was outstanding. We've never had a quarterback like him. Donovan McNabb was the closest, but I mean, this raw ability that Carson Wentz has been unmatched. And if he didn't get hurt in 2017, I believe he would have been the league MVP. Without Carson, let's face it, man, I don't think that we get that #1 seed in the playoffs, and who knows what happens from there. So that's Carson Wentz. Let's put a little pause on him for a minute. Let's go to Nick Foles, man. Nick Foles will be a legend to Eagles fans, and he'll never have to buy a meal or a drink in Philadelphia ever again. The guy came into the league an Eagle, and we all saw what happened in 2013 with Chip Kelly. 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, brought us to the playoffs. We had a home game, and when he left the field, he had the lead. Ran into some trouble in St. Louis, and who wouldn't with the quarterback killer known as Jeff Fisher. Went to Kansas City, got his passion back, and then came back to Philadelphia. And when Carson got hurt, he took over, and the dude came out blazing. The game against the Giants, 4 touchdowns, ran into a little trouble with cold weather, which I think might be his Achilles heel. And then, of course, who will forget the playoff run, the Atlanta game, the Minnesota game, which I watch over and over because it was so unbelievably awesome. And then that unbelievable performance, out-dueling Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Something that us Eagles fans just couldn't ask for more from this guy, man. And we're having this argument now. I hear it all over the radio, but who would have thought in 2015, when we had Sam Bradford and we've went through guys like Mark Sanchez, that we'd be having this argument of who do we want? Do we want a young, dynamic player that could have been an NFL MVP, or do we want a guy that won us a Super Bowl that was a Super Bowl MVP? It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's the kind of a good argument to have. I mean, I believe these guys are 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league. For me, what I would do is you got to keep Carson Wentz. I'm a huge Nick Foles fan. He signed a football for my daughter back in 2014. I've got dolls, I've got books, I've got posters, I've got all the Sports Illustrated covers that Nick's been on. I mean, I'm a huge Nick Foles fan, and that's fine. I mean, before I started this video, I was reading his book, Believe It. Unreal book with a great message. I'm right in the middle of it. And you know what? That's cool. I'm a fan of Nick Foles. I like Nick Foles, but that doesn't mean that I can't look out for the future of the Eagles and knowing that Carson Wentz is the future of this team. The guy came back way too early this year. I mean, the injury that he had, most people that aren't athletes, that don't understand the significance of rehabbing and coming back from an injury, it's hard for them to understand, man, but he came back from one of the most devastating injuries that an athlete can have, and he came back really quickly because he watched Nick Foles win a Super Bowl. He wanted to be back on week 1. And he just wasn't right when he came back in week 3. I mean, You can tell. And even with the injury, and I have the numbers on me directly. I was reading an article on Bleeding Green Nation a couple days ago. If you look at the numbers that Nick Foles and Carson Wentz had, I mean, it's almost identical. Even with Carson hurt, I mean, the guy was still pretty good, and he came into a team with no running game. I mean, they didn't have Jay Ajayi. Corey Clement, I think, was hurt pretty much all year. They didn't start using Josh Adams until Nick came in. Wendell Smallwood, you just can't rely on this guy. I mean, Wentz didn't have a running game, and that's a big thing for a quarterback. In 2017, he had a great running game with Ajayi, with LeGarrette Blount, Corey Clement. I mean, it was unreal. And this year, no running game. The offensive line was pretty battered. If you remember, I think Lane Johnson might have missed 1 or 2 games when Carson was in there. Jason Peters tore the bicep initially when Carson was in there. So Carson had a lot of things to overcome. And Alshon was just getting started when Carson came back, too. So, I mean, it's kind of unfair to look at Carson Wentz and go, man, this dude, the team just didn't run right when he was in there. A lot of people like to say, look at the offense. When Nick was in there, it just looked better. When Carson was in there, it didn't seem like it was. I mean, the guy didn't seem to heat up until the fourth quarter. I think that it's a lot of different things, but most of the thing is the injury, man. The injury, it takes a good 18 months to come back from. I think when Carson Wentz comes back in 2019 for that season, he's going to have a fire lit under his ass. He's going to be motivated from all the negativity, and this guy's going to overcome, man. It's retribution for Carson Wentz, and I think that he's going to lead this team to many playoff appearances and Super Bowls in the years to come. Again, Nick Foles, just one of the legends in Philadelphia sports history. He'll continue to be a legend here no matter what. If it's me, if I'm the GM, I just don't know if I want Nick Foles for a whole 16-game season. I don't know if he can handle a whole 16-game season. Again, you might say, well, you don't know if Carson can either, but I feel a little bit better about Carson Wentz going into the future. And just imagine if you can get 2017 Carson for the remainder of his career. I mean, people look at Andrew Luck, the struggles he had, and then this year with a great comeback year for him. Carson Wentz is just a different animal. He's a beast. I think he's going to come back insanely strong. And Nick, I wish Nick all the luck in the world. Hopefully the Eagles can find a way to franchise tag and get something in return. I would love to see Nick Foles go to a team like Jacksonville. I think, they're a season away, or a season removed from being in an AFC Championship game. They got a good defense. They got a decent running game. Fournette's healthy. They got some reliable wide receivers. I'd love to see Nick go there and tear up the AFC and ruin Tom Brady's chances at getting to a Super Bowl. Again, I would love to see it. However, I'm all Wentz, man. I'm number 11 all the way. I think that he's just going to have an amazing career. And once the Eagles need to get a running game this year, get that running game for him. Shore up that offensive line. I'll talk about that in a couple of videos later. But Carson Wentz is my guy. And hey, I'm a professional wrestler. I love professional wrestling. If you really want to settle this, and again, these guys don't have any beef in between each other, but let's set up a steel cage. Have Carson Wentz go in, and then Nick Foles go in, and whoever leaves that cage gets to be the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. That would be a sure way to settle the argument. No, but really, Carson, number 11, 2019, watch. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again, but I'm not wrong today, and I'm definitely not wrong about this. Carson Wentz is the quarterback of the future. Everybody have a great day. Let's see what these Eagles do with the franchise tag and Nick Foles.